Hello, Deep Mindfulness Collective. I forgot who you were for a second. Hello, Deep Mindfulness Collective. This, right here, right now, is the joy of being live stream, coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York, folks. Delighted to be here with you today. Good times for all. Today we're going to meditate. Surprise. Breaking out with the meditation. We think the technical problems are gone. We really appreciate everyone bearing with us. We, it was a pain in the ass. Wednesday was sound issues, which was the whole computer was just insane with sound stuff. I couldn't hear half the stuff. You couldn't hear anything. Then, Friday, just before we went live, we're like, okay, we've got it fixed. We're ready to go. The internet went out for the entire building. Like something went wrong with the entire hub. And it was like out. It was not like a sort of soft out, like bad signal. It was like dead. So that really put a damper on my whole Friday. So glad you're here. Glad we're here together. Glad we get to meditate. Glad we're doing this. So hit me with, where are you at? And what are you grateful for? What am I grateful for? I have so much to be grateful for. And the ability to help folks. And then P.S. I wanted to share this. We have a new video coming out tomorrow morning. I have one more thing I need to fix on that video, but I have a new video coming out tomorrow morning on values. You heard it here first. Values are the key, the central key, in order to have a fulfilling life, being clear on your values and living in your values. It's funny, I never really noticed until I get into the front of the camera. I'm like, my beard's getting giant at this point, relatively speaking. Sanelf from Atlanta, grateful for your internet, that my internet works, so I'm grateful it works too. We're on the same page. Cat Letterbox says Zurich, for this stream and for the Progress of Shinzen course. It's funny because I always think it's funny that the initials are POS, because it's not, the only meaning is not Progress of Shinzen, so I think it's a little bit funny for your POS course. Exactly. So all right, folks, we're going to meditate today. I realize I made a mistake. The title of this stream is one thing, but we're actually going to be meditating on something else. Something else is a bit of a question. Since we didn't have Freaky Friday, I am open to suggestions, and at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm staying on track, because I'm recording stuff for the course. So let me really quick look at the course syllabus and see places where there's gaps. Oops. Where there are gaps and things that I need people to have in their arsenal. Okay. Okay, what are we doing there? Emotion. Okay. Today I think I'm going to do a meditation on emotion. I need more practice at this because I have my set of things that I use for people, and I really actually emotion. I'm actually open. I'm open to suggestions actually, because I am. Yeah, what do people want to meditate around? We have, let's see here, Aaron from Indiana. Grateful for sunshine. Oh my God, it's P.S. I'm really grateful for the snow. It's been really beautiful here. Gorgeous weather, meaning full of snow, bright, beautifully lit. I was in a taxi cab, driving by and looking at downtown Brooklyn, and I've never seen it look so beautiful. It was just something about the color, and what I think it was is somehow the lights that were in the city, I don't know why this happened, but because they were reflecting off the snow, it looked purple. So it's like this purple glow all throughout between all the buildings, and like everything seemed like lit from the bottom up, kind of like just this beautiful thing. It was so gorgeous. 1960, California, grateful for brisk Brisk, cold. Nice. I'm assuming you mean brisk in the temporal sense and brisk in the temperature sense. That's why I used it twice. Okay, so let's see here. What are we going to meditate on today, folks? What do we meditate on? Okay, often what I'll do is just what I want to meditate on. But if you guys have ideas of what you'd like to meditate around, what have I been doing recently? I might just do it fully freestyle and just make it up as I go. But if you have any requests or anything like that, we can go from there. Yeah, let's do that. And hit me with any requests, and if not, we'll just begin in a moment. So as you're thinking of requests, type them in, and I'll tell everyone else. Find a nice, comfortable posture that you can maintain for the duration of the sit. Can values be included in the meditation? How do you do a meditation where you do the value? Because typically it's more contemplative, like you're contemplating and then reflecting back. So could you do a meditation for values? That's an interesting question. I'll think about that. 1986, whoa. I meant brisk temperature sense twice, but it's a very thoughtful interpretation. Well, thank you very much. I assumed you meant like a short snap of cold weather. Let's see. I feel like wordplay is so much fun. It's so funny. Values. Is there a way to make values a meditation? I mean, I guess it's a nice challenge. I haven't done that. So let's figure it out. Let me see if I can get that in there, if I can wedge that in there. But for now, let's just plan to, we're just going to meditate somehow. I'm not sure what we're going to have as our object of meditation, but it'll be fun and hopefully transformative. I would say find your comfortable posture, and then we'll move forward from there. But what I'll also say is on the subject of posture, if you don't have a posture that you like already, make sure your knees are lower than your hips, sitting at the edge of whatever surface you're going to be sitting on. I'm going to adjust slightly here since I'm not the edge of the couch. And what? The other thing. Decide now how long you're going to stay for the meditation. The meditation will be 25 minutes. And pick now, because if you try to wait to decide how long you're going to stay, you will decide to leave. That's almost universal. So decide now. Am I going to stay for the whole thing? Impress my friends with telling them that I meditated for 25 whole minutes? It'll be surprisingly fast. Or do I only want to stay for 60 seconds and then I'm out? Okay. So give me 10 seconds here. I just want to double. I'm just quadruple checking here. Okay. Okay, well, we'll go from there. I think we're going to get into some weird territory for the rest of the recordings as we're going forward, but for now we'll just keep it as is. Let's jump in, folks. Find that nice, comfortable position, and when you're ready, we will begin. Beginning by taking a few comfortable deep breaths and just feeling the body rise and fall. Each time we begin a meditation, We begin with the momentum of all of the previous moments. So checking in on the type of mind that we're arriving to this moment with. Perhaps the mind is foggy, having used up all of its energy, or needing more rest. Perhaps the mind is sharp and clear, so sharp that it's jumping, skipping from sensation to sensation. Or perhaps the mind is balanced, able to stay with the sensations of this particular moment, attend to their richness and detail, without being pulled away. And whatever mind we're arriving with, it's important to just be honest with ourselves. This is what the current experience is. So I'd like us to begin by sweeping through the body to be sure we're not holding any undue tension. So starting at the top of the head, relax the brow. Relax the muscles behind the eyes. Allow the face to go smooth, relaxing the back of the tongue and letting the jaw go slack. Relaxing the neck and the shoulders. Relaxing the arms. And as we tune into the sensations of the hands, just observing all of the nuance and detail of the palms of the hands and tips of the fingers. Letting go of any attempt to control the breath, just letting the body breathe as it will. Noticing the natural tightening and relaxing of the upper chest and upper back as the breath comes and goes. Relaxing the belly and the lower back. Relaxing the hips and the upper legs. The knees and calves. And relaxing the feet. Now tuning in, relaxing the entire body as one collective. Allowing our awareness to hold the experience of the body. As we do this, as we relax the entire physical body, allowing the sensations of the body to melt into the sensations around the body. In other words, letting go of the mental sense of the edge of the body, just letting it melt into its surroundings. Noticing if the relationship to the body is one where we're looking down at it. It feels like it's down there below, or it feels like we're really merging with those sensations, really allowing those to be the center of our experience. This could almost be described as one perspective from our attention is where we're looking down from the perspective of the head. And the other is as though we were feeling the body as though it didn't have ahead or that location to look from. We've often trained ourselves to ignore the brilliant wisdom of the body, treating it as a mere functional tool. But the body involves around 4 billion years of evolutionary development, wisdom beyond our comprehension. So allowing ourselves to be amazed at the experience of the body, not as an idea, but directly, as though there were no attentional head looking down, just experiencing it firsthand. This is precisely what it feels like to be alive. Asking our body, what does it feel like at this moment to be alive? The mind might want to answer with narrative or image, but looking to the body. Notice that distractions, if they arise, will likely require us to jump back into the head perspective, as though we were now looking around at something that's distracting us. But the body just continues to feel. The body has its own concentration, its own stability. As a way of appreciating the body, let's pull in some nurture positive techniques. So I'd like you to imagine or see from the perspective that these aren't ordinary human experiences. That what you're experiencing at this moment is the body of a God, transcendent in its nature. The scale of the experience is an ordinary human experience. It's something else. It's enormous. This body is 80 feet tall. These sensations are not ordinary sensations. They're sensations from some cosmic level. So this might seem strange, and the mind might get caught on beliefs or liking or disliking, but just perceiving the body in this way. These are not ordinary sensations. These are those of a divine body. This scale isn't ordinary scale. It's the scale of a mountain. If distractions arise, recognize these are not ordinary human distractions. These are the other sense experiences of God. If we have any naturally arising doubt or ambivalence about this somewhat strange meditation, remember these sensations are divine in their scale, in their scope. It's the kind of depth of ambivalence that would shape a world. Tuning in to see if you like this process or you dislike this process, recognizing these as body sensations, emotion expressing itself as different pressures within the body. And it helps to treat the body sensations as being, in this way, deserving of awe, privileging them at this moment, just to get ourselves deeply attuned with these sensations. We find it's helpful to breathe in a particular way, the breath of a God, that will allow us to more clearly feel these sensations. Going ahead and doing that. We find that we get distracted, letting those distractions be ethereal, not nearly as powerful as incredible. As deserving of awe as the sensations of our body. Allowing the sensations of our body to be the forces that make mountains various pressures and temperature, the various functions in the body. Let those be the forces that move oceans. And in particular, attend to any emotion that you're experiencing. If you're experiencing awe, recognizing this as the body sensation. Ambivalence or nervousness, delight, surprise, all body sensations that send the path. Give a direction to the mind. Move towards or move away, but feeling these at this deep cosmic level. And as you allow the body to breathe in whatever way is supportive of this process, feeling the movements feeling the movements of the body. As timeless, ancient, enormous. If we become distracted, just returning to this awareness. Recognizing once more that this body represents billions of years of development and evolution. This body is quite literally the expression of the same cosmic forces that created this very universe. If the cosmos could express itself in the form of a planet, that planet could express those same forces in the form of life. So tuning in to that cosmic nature, that cosmic scale of experiencing this body. And if the eyes are closed, allowing them to let a little bit of light in, eventually allowing them to rest on a single point. Letting our experience of this enormous scale of our body inform our experience of seeing. Letting the space of seeing mix with the enormous space of the body. Letting our sense of space and location absorb and mix with this cosmic scale. Recognizing that this is the world of the gods. These are the sights and sounds at the scale of a deity. And in that way, letting this particular moment be the great teacher. It shows us how we might bring this practice into every aspect of our life. Okay. So making any adjustments you need to allow your body to be comfortable. And we'll go from there. We're going to do some reporting. You guys are sleuth reporters. You're the only ones on the scene who can give us an accurate first-hand perspective of what just happened. So we're going to have you report using those digits. What was that experience like? What happened? What do you like? Now we're also going to try to do the Discord, but there's a solid chance the Discord is totally screwed. Let's see. We don't know. I want to check the audio. So if somebody does want to jump on the Discord, that's slightly helpful to see if it's even working. Okay, we're here. We're live. Yeah, so what's up, folks? What's happening? What do you like now? What was that experience like? Noticing if any of that same sort of juice is still going inside the system, even though we've ended the meditation. It's a good indication that it's sinking in and starting to work. So during that meditation, I decided a change that I'm going to make in the Progress of Shinzen course, which is going to involve that kind of meditation as part of the nurture positives that we'll be using along with the see, hear, feel. God was tired. Good. Excellent. That is exactly the scale of tired that we want to be looking for. It also basically, we have a natural tendency to be in awe of things that are awesome, you know? So letting our body sensations be the things that are like full of awe is very powerful, very inspiring. So, yeah, excellent. Okay, what else, folks? What else happened? What happened? What do you? What was it like? What happened, and what do you like now? Yeah, let's jump in. And also, any questions, quandaries, queries, comments, challenges, or concerns? And we'll jump from there. We could also just talk about random stuff. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here for it. What was the thing?
I talk about that a lot.
Oops. P.S. Also, P.S. I want to give people a quick thing, which is that if you ever have like a video, you're like, I want to watch this video, and you want to watch it and comment on it, you can always watch them. Usually shorter is better. 5-minute video is much better than a 30-minute video. It takes about 30 minutes to go through a 5-minute video. Yeah, there we go. So, excellent. What else? No pressure. If you don't, oh, there we go. Cat Letterbox says, little fireworks in space. Felt strong tension in the throat, sadness, and humility. Curious. I'm curious. Cat Letterbox did the, basically what we're talking about here is deity yoga. This is like Vajrayana Buddhism, where you're taking on the experience of being a god, and navigating the world. Actually, there's a point at which Buddhism and Hinduism sort of mix. So there is a Hindu concept that is related to this as well. So anyway, so jumping in though, let me know what that experience was like, what happened, what do you like now, and then we'll go from there. And what else? Yeah, what is that like? And I realize I have a thing I probably have to jump off to pretty soon, but before then, I'm happy to take questions from anyone at all. If not, no sense to torture ourselves. Let's see if there's actually... Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Oh, here we go. We can watch this. Good times. Pause that. This is actually the background here. I looked up Deity Yoga. I was like, oh, I wonder if there's a video on Deity Yoga. Of course, the first thing that pops up is Shinzen, the person who I learned Deity Yoga from. So, let me pop this video on. Wow, how come That's not okay. I'm gonna play this.
By the time.
Okay. Let's get this correct on the screen. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Try to make this so you can see it, what I'm seeing. Okay. This is good for now. I'll make some adjustments, but we'll watch this video in a second. Okay, let's let the computer read this. Aaron says,
feeling myself as a mountain was pretty cool. It felt like a good combination of expansiveness with still being grounded in reality.
nice.
Expanding to God level was a little more abstract, but I began to be able to feel it.
Yeah, and keep in mind that it's worth noting that, you know, the omnipotent, omnipresent God that we think about, which is like really limitless, right? It has no body necessarily, unless you know, depending on which tradition you're talking about. I'm almost referring more to like a, you know, like a gods from the pantheon where they're, you know, 80 feet tall, that kind of thing, like that scale. And then, of course, that's sort of flexible, and you can just see what happens, whatever way you want to open out or in or out to that. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Let's watch a little Shinzen. Let me know if any other reports are coming up, and I will comment on this video. Let's do a little, which channel is this? This is our Harprakash's channel, so a little credit there.
I'm Mahayana evolved into Vajrayana. The religious stuff was really intense.
Hold on, let me fix the audio.
So now
Audio's
the Buddha
bad.
is a deity. And to become a Buddha means...
Okay, let's start this again.
By the time Mahayana evolved into Vajrayana, the religious stuff was really intense. So now the Buddha is a deity. And to become a Buddha means to become a deity. So how is that feasible? Well, what they did is they did something very, very clever. They showed people how they could become a deity, a god. It's called deity yoga. Yoga in the sense of merging, by the way. Ple nenjor in the Tibetan language.
So I'm going to pause here. Also, what was the thing that I want to mention? I forgot.
Now, you've probably heard that Tibetan Buddhism is secret Buddhism. There are these secret initiations. So now I'm going to give away the secret to all of you.
Yeah, so if you don't know that there's, you know, often the tendency when they say like, okay, well, the first 4 years you just work on samadhi and you get this incredible samadhi, and then we move into the secret stuff, and it's esoteric stuff. Like you can't give this stuff away. You can't tell people about this, and this is exactly the stuff. You know, Shinzen studied in that tradition, so.
Yes, that's right. Here's the secret of secret Buddhism. How do you become a deity? In a way that is not insanity or possession, by the way.
That would be cool.
How do you become a deity in a way that brings about the same insight and liberation as the deconstructive process of early Buddhism? Very clever. Here's how you do it. You replace your internal talk with the mantra of the deity. You replace your self-image with the image of the deity. And you replace your normal human feelings with the feel of the deity, and you form the touch of the deity by making hand gestures, mudras. So touch, feel, image, talk.
It's funny because what's it called? I don't know if he says this here, but he's told this. He's taught this many times, and there's this point when he says, like, I don't know if he makes this joke in a minute. Forgive me, but he says like, you know, you hold your hands in the, you know, the shape of a god, you know, like you do. That's what the mudra is. All those shapes and different things you see with what's it called? This is one of my, or I can't get my fingers to do the thing. You know, this one where it's like this, or you know, these different mudras. Why do you do that? Well, that's what a, you know, like a god would do. And then you say the mantra, and the mantra is like, it's the, you know, like God's talk, you know, om, 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 you know, they're just talking all the time. And so it's sort of funny because the joke is like, oh, it's, you know, how gods talk, you know, Om, etc.
Of a myth, you become the myth. As I say, not to be insane and not to be possessed, but to gain insight into what? Insight into the arbitrary nature of self-identification. Because you created this alternate identity from scratch. And you know it's a myth.
So in what we did today, right, we're looking at our same experience, but we're like, oh no, the scale of my experience is totally different. But nothing's changed. Keep that in mind. Like, objectively, nothing has changed, but the experience is radically different. If we think of ourselves as being 15 feet tall or 100 feet tall right now, it tends to have a kind of perceptual effect on our experience. Something shifts. We're like, wait a minute, okay, this is a little bit different experientially, not just conceptually. It's like, oh wait, things feel like this sort of other way. So we start to realize, like, wait a minute, maybe the tendency that I have to, you know, take on a experience that is X size and is X identity and has, you know, sort of X, Y, or Z sort of way of being, maybe that's also just equally as arbitrary. I just have less practice at it.
Yet you become it. Very clever. It was a way of meeting the people where they were at. They were worshiping these archetypes. Buddhism had really moved from its early sort of Buddha as a spiritual scientist, just another guy, but an extraordinary guy, to, okay, Buddha is an archetype, so now become the archetype and you'll get the same insight into how the sense of self arises. So once again, we're working with feel, image, talk, aren't we?
So I want to also mention here that, you know, in early Buddhism is like you're sort of abstract, or like breaking things down to get to a place where you can observe that you know, there is a non-self experience. And later Buddhism, you'd think it would be impossible. You can't take on an identity and then have that work out for you in terms of non-identity. But it's actually the case that you can take on an identity. You're just now cycling through different deities. You're not just picking one. You're sort of going through a series of deities. And because of that, it shows you the arbitrary nature of your own identity. But it starts to point to this idea that comes up in later Buddhism that you would think it's only one way. In order, if you want to have an experience of non-self or the arbitrary nature of identity experientially, you would deconstruct that. You would step away from the experience of self. But the other version is you actually merge very deeply with the experience of self, and that'll give you the same insights. And this is something that came up pretty deeply on my practice over time, was realizing that there are almost always two. It's like two or more. But there's almost like if there's a specific thing that you're trying to ingrain experientially into the system, you can go about it in a, you know, sort of forward-looking way or a backwards-looking way. You know, you can have insight practice, which is looking at details and saying, okay, this is what it is, or the same practice in reverse, which is a, you know, inquiry practice, and you say, is that what it is? Is that what it is? I'm not sure. Is that what it is? And you'd think, how is it possible that a practice where you're sort of pointing at everything, like it's like this, it's this, you know, see, hear, feel, like labeling the world, and a practice where you're questioning, like, is this seeing? Is this what light looks like to me right now? You can do this right now. Is this the experience of seeing? I mean, my mind tells me it is, but is this the experience of seeing on an experiential, non-conceptual level? And the results are frequently the same, or at least there's a heavy overlap between these two. So someone asked, how do you do mental talk like a deity? It's the mantras, which is very funny. It's like these are the words of a deity, you know, where they're saying Om, Om, or I don't know, a ton of mantras. So Shri, Shri, like this, you know, this is how deities talk, you know, deities. Are there any ways to derive, without seeing firsthand, a mudra that makes sense for deity? A mudra for Zeus? I don't know. I think that these are very culturally assigned. So we don't want to say that there's something that would be like the natural mudra for X. Typically, they're just sort of assigned. I once was assigned this mudra, which is, it's hard to show, but it's like you're like holding a volume of space, and the hand V's are at right angles to each other, and just like the power of that, and you're holding this intense thing, you're holding it by the heart, and you're like shifting this way. So it's in a way, it's like you just are like, sure, fine, like I'll believe in your magic for now. I'm very like anything that's like energy or this kind of thing. I'm always very skeptical of, but I try to do the thing where if I step into someone else's thing, whatever their thing is, I'll be like, sure, fine. Like when I did the ayahuasca journey, which P.S. the video is kind of almost done. When I did the ayahuasca journey, they were like talking about like energy in the body and like the spirit of the medicine. And I could have went in there with a kind of Bill Maher, like, I'm above this, like you primitive people and your beliefs that you've only been working with for thousands of years. Like my, college educated brain is more important, more significant than that history. I could do that. Obviously I have a bit of a cynical read on that. But I try to actually say, okay, fine. We're in the realm of like, we're moving energy in the body. Okay, that's not my thing, but I'm just going to go with it and believe it for now. And then have the sort of, in a way, it's like, if someone is confident enough in their sexuality, like hugging or even snuggling like another guy wouldn't be like threatening. It might not be something they want to do, but it's not going to be like, no, we're not going to do that. It's just like, okay, sure, fine. Like if we're in a thing where like snuggling is going to create this great benefit, I'm comfortable enough in my sexuality that that's not a big deal, that kind of thing. So hopefully that is clarifying. Aaron asks, so is it like you're trying to completely immerse yourself in the role of whatever deity or identity you choose? Exactly. What Shinzen's describing is you replace the see, hear, feel of your own inner see, hear, feel with that of a deity. And you do that thoroughly enough with enough practice. Like today we just did one sense gate. So you're taking on the experience of the body of basically a giant being that is godlike. Deity-like might have been a better word to use. So it's like this deity that is, deitific. I don't know if that's a word. Will someone check if deitific is a word? Because I know beatific is, but deitific. And actually, I realize I don't. And also, will someone figure out what's the definition of beatific? I feel like I realize I don't exactly know. I know it in context, but the actual definition. So, let's see. Veg Noah says the following.
The book The Alter Ego Effect, The Power of Secret Identities to Transform Your Life by Todd Herman discusses this phenomenon in a more secular context, e.g. basketball players using a game day persona.
Interesting. Okay, well there you go. I wonder what would happen for basketball players if they used the persona of a god or deity. Okay, let's keep listening.
Broadly, it's another way to do focus on positive.
Focus
as
on
I
positive.
define focus on positive.
So I want to pause that there. He's probably going to explain this, but I want to explain it from my language. Deific. Okay. Deific. I want to explain. So anytime you are observing your experience, like there's two ways to look at meditation, or two. So you could split meditation into two categories: receiving and giving. Receiving is most of what we're used to in meditation. You're receiving sensations, you're listening, you're feeling your body, you're, whatever, tasting things. You're receiving experiences and you're observing them as they are. Even an inquiry practice where you're like, what is this? There's a kind of receiving quality to that. The flip side to that is giving. And giving is anything in the realm of morality. So you're helping someone up the stairs with their with their baby carriage. You are, trying to make your body more fit. Anything where you could move towards any level of goodness or anything that would be positive or any ideal, that is the realm of morality. So in meditation, anytime you sit up straight, or anytime you're like, okay, we're going to really focus on something warm and fuzzy, or we're going to say kind wishes to someone, or you pray to a god, right? These are all things where you are trying to move towards something that is more ideal or morally, perfect. So a practice where you make yourself into something that is effectively more ideal is a kind of nurture positive practice, if that makes sense. A visualization generally would be a nurture positive practice. So hopefully that clarifies what he's saying here, that it is a kind of, I forget what term he used.
So in
Practice of
Tibetan
goodness.
Buddhism, they in the core of these, if you look at the surface, it looks like they're doing these rituals. But inside, they're doing deity yoga, where they're becoming this deity, then becoming this other deity, then becoming this other deity, in order to see that when you work with those elements, those are the elements that create the illusion of self. If it can create the illusion of a mythical self, then it certainly can create the illusion of your ordinary self, and you gain the same insights.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons that I define focus on positive so broadly
Nurture positive.
is to allow some students who wish to do deity yoga. Some of my students that relate to that, I would never encourage a person to do this, but some of them want to do it, and it can be very insightful. Well, the focus on positive technique that I give you is so broadly defined that it includes within it not only early Buddhist loving kindness, but deity yoga, because you're working with those elements.
And I think that maybe Shinzen, he must say the same thing, but I'm defining it even more broadly. Maybe this is from Shinzen, maybe this is my own thing, but to include all of morality. So that's...
in a very systematic way. A lot of times Westerners, if they want to do this, will not choose the deities of India and Tibet. They'll choose Western archetypes. That's certainly my case. When I do this, I typically use La Virgen de Guadalupe, the Virgin of Guadalupe, because I grew up seeing that in L.A. And that's like, it's very natural for me. So, and I use Ave Maria. So, so you got the little Jewish boy from L.A. does the Catholic tantric practice.
Worth mentioning that he mentioned tantric. These are tantric practices. Tantra, beyond the sex stuff, like white tantra, which is like, if you like, you could talk about it as white tantra, pink tantra, and red tantra. Red tantra is the sex stuff. If you look at it as in terms of like, if it were a container of liquid, it's like the bottom, half an inch is the red tantra, and the rest is like white tantra, with pink really actually mixing in as part of white. Pink being like more your psycho-emotional. White tantra is all of this stuff where you take on this form of the deity. You live that way of relating to yourself and to others. Like, you got to keep in mind, like, the self-centeredness that could accompany this, where like, well, I'm a god. It's like, well, so is the person you're looking at, and not only is the person you're looking at a god, they're also you, in just a different manifestation. Like, they are you manifesting themselves as a god, and you're interacting with them as a god. So you can see it's getting layers of more and more complex. And then also, P.S., aside from all of that, you can do this now if you're looking around, realizing like you're in the mandala. You are in the map of awakening. Those beautiful mandala charts. Let's just pull one up real quick in case someone is not familiar with these. Like these images. These are maps of awakening. You know what I mean? That's what that is. Go away. These are maps of awakening. And so any point within this, if somebody I don't know the mandalas really well, but if somebody knows, like, oh, you're here, like, you're having this stress and this difficulty in your life. You want to go this way and left, right. And so this is not just like a pretty map. This is a map of how to awaken. And every place that you could be, like, oh, I'm, in this scary realm, or I'm in this place with this difficulty, and I'm facing this thing in life. They'll say, well, look, when you're facing that thing in life, you want to do X, Y, or Z, which are usually the pieces right nearby. So it is a map. And part of your job at any given moment is to realize, I am in the mandala. This is the mandala. And I have to look around and see, where am I? And like, how do I relate to this as being in the world of a transcendent world? This world is transcendent right now, and I'm navigating how to, know its deep, transcendent, awakened spirit. And that is, this is the realm that now we're getting in. This is actual Tantra. So this is when people say, like, do you know Tantra? Like, you're going, like, as the meditation teacher, you go on a date and someone's like, do you know Tantra? And it's like, okay, I'm going to give you a 10-minute lecture that's going to make you want to end the date. But so, okay, let us go back here and continue.
Well, that's the world we live in. But it works. You can do it with any archetype. And in fact, traditional way that you're supposed to be taught to do the rosary is you visualize the mystery, you have the certain prayer and talk space, and you're supposed to experience the emotions, and you're touch-wise engaged with the rosary. It's the same elements, okay?
So what he's pointing out there is that, at the time he's arguing for his, I think it was called feel, image, talk, but is an early form of what we call see, hear, feel. And he's pointing out, like, look, even in the rosary process, this is beatific. This is where we talked about a second ago. Someone look up beatific, because I know it from this context and other contexts, but I want to actually hear the definition if someone can. Beatific. You take on you create the image of the Mother Mary. You're saying the prayer in your mind, in your talk space, hear space. You're feeling the emotions, the beatific connection with that, archetype, and then you're at the same time touching the rosary. So you're engaging all of these different parts of yourself. I think you're saying it out loud. I don't know traditionally how you do the rosary, but there's also that element. So that's what he's describing here.
Right there.
Okay, that's the end of the video. Well, thank you, Shinzen. Thank you, Harprakash, for having created that video in the first place. Let us delete. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I want this. That goes away. Okay. Blissful and happy. Excellent. Thank you so much for that, 19860. Okay, folks, any other questions, comments, queries, challenges, or concerns about what we just talked about that universe of material we just talked about? I think I'm going to include that more explicitly in the course now that I'm going over it mentally. I'm glad we had this free day where we didn't have anything we were supposed to be doing, and I just remembered how powerful that practice was for me. Let's see here. 19860 says,
Whoa. Mandala mindset kind of does something for me. And am I correct to understand that you're headed towards the center but will never get there?
No, it's not that you'll never get there. I'm not a big expert in the actual traditional mandala, which is different than mandala practice where you're visualizing sort of resources. They're not disconnected. There is just some difference there. But let me actually think about it for a second. It's been so long. I think you can get to the center, and I think the center is just a different part. It's just like you need to navigate and know the entire mandala. But I might be wrong on that. I'd be curious to figure out if that's the case. Let's see. Nope. Monitor 2 is what we want. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a very interesting question. I'd be curious to talk to someone who is a tantric wizard. I actually know someone. Maybe I'll bring them on stream. This is another thing, is that I don't have the resources, or like just time resources and organizational resources to start bringing people on for interviews. If I did, I would happily bring people on for nerdy interviews and we get into this stuff. But I'm basically trying to figure out, like, do I hire someone or get a volunteer or something like that to help with that kind of process of finding great people to chat with in that way. Okay, folks, I should jump off if there are no further questions, comments, or queries, and we'll go from there. Great to be here with you right in this particular moment. Take it just a moment to, we have another late enterer here with a comment here. 19860 says, whoa, is the mandala like looking at the bottom of a tower? Let's see. Too many interesting things. I wouldn't say looking at the bottom of a tower. It's a map. It's a map of awakening. This is one of the things people don't understand. Like, this is absolutely one of the classical maps of awakening. And so that's the thing, but it's so culturally specific. Like, it's not like, oh, just study what these different things mean and it will be a map for you. It's like every little piece is a very specific aspect of Tibetan culture and how it relates and these different details and this kind of thing. And there's many mandala. There's like let's see. Yeah, they do tend to have the same sort of form, but they are, there's many pieces and many interpretations and this kind of thing. So, yeah, enter the mandala. Folks, lovely to be here with you as always. Right now, in this particular moment, go back to your awareness of the body as a kind of deific experience. Get rid of any sense of scale that you have. Like, if you're that unsure about your scale, you can just think about it for a second and be like, wait, maybe I'm 80 feet tall. Get rid of even that. Like, maybe you're 1,000 feet tall. Maybe you're like one of the celestials from the hit Marvel movie, whatever that one was about the celestials. Thank you guys. Thanks everyone. Great to be here with you as always. Let's listen to some music. Folks, lovely to be here with you as always. Go ahead and get back into that place that we were in meditation, letting all of our experiences be those of a deity, those of some extra powerful being beyond the reaches of ordinary human experiencing. Let this experience be awake and transformative in that way. Thank you everyone for joining us. Lovely to be here with you as always. Very delighted to have you here and excited to be here with you again in fewer than 48 hours. Folks, as always, practice well, take care of each other, have fun, and we'll see you all very soon.